Hey everybody, look what I got. A brand new microphone. That probably sounds crazy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So, y'all, thanks for coming back. Today's topic is about giving God his vengeance. It's about letting people, I know this sounds crazy, but let them hurt you. Just let them hurt you because God is going to pay that back. And it probably doesn't always feel like that. I may have discussed this before in a prior video, but he does. He may not show it to you. Sometimes it's not meant to be shown to you. Sometimes it will be. And I'm going to tell a story of how God has shown me, among many other times, that he sees me and he knows when a person hurts me. He sees when someone hurts you unjustly. Okay? Also, if I'm making puffing sounds, I do have some type of item that I can put on here. But since this is my first time using it, using the microphone, I just want to see how it plays out. Honestly, it may not even be recording. I'm not that tech savvy, but we'll see. But if it sounds kind of puffy, like when I just said puff, if it's really picking up on the microphone, I'll put it in for the next video. But I'm so excited to have it. I kind of feel like I guess this is what it would feel like to be an interviewer or something. But I may even clip it instead of holding it. I'm a very handsy person. But anyway, so when I was in high school, kind of going into the story, when I was in high school, I remember I was probably maybe in the 11th, no, 12th grade, senior year, senior year. That's part of the story. So I was in a classroom. We used to be in these I almost said porta potties, but I forgot what they're called. They almost look like shipping container classrooms or whatever. But anyway, we were in the class and I was talking to one of my classmates. It was a guy. I was just having a random conversation with him, right? One of the girls from the class, they were walking in. And as me and the person were just having the conversation, I just happened to glance over in her direction, you know? So instantly, I'm looking at her face, and she looks like she thinks we're talking about her. Like she kind of has a face. And, we're in high school. She's not thinking to be like, well, what are y'all talking about? Or just anything. She just assumes we're talking about her. Okay. The reason I know she assumed is because after that, she started bullying me. Okay, she would be like talking from a class across the classroom, like passive remarks. And honestly, I can't really remember what she was saying, but she was definitely bullying me to the point where she got the other girls in the classroom to kind of like pitch in with it. And it was so frustrating for me. Like I was raised to not fight. Not even my siblings. My mother did not she did not play that. Like we're not fighting each other. We're not putting our hands on each other. That's how we were raised. We weren't fighting. So fighting wasn't my first, thing to do. Honestly, I barely really spoke up for myself. I wasn't taught that either, stick up for yourself, defend yourself. I was just kind of like frozen, like I didn't know what to do, especially when it's multiple people. I think that is so cowardly, y'all. So cowardly when that's usually my indicator when I'm around mean girls. Usually when it turns into a gang attack, that to me looks like somebody and their minions. Like people can't think for themselves, they just want to be on a team. But I might have to talk about that in a video if that's something that might be interesting to y'all. But so anywho, they're doing all that. It got to a point where one of my friends came to class with me and they were trying to bully her. And it was just, to help me out, but in the end it didn't work out, whatever. So this is how I knew God saw me, okay? Graduation day. Graduation day. I was sitting there in the back. My last name starts with a W. And I don't even see her, but one of the students on side of me, he looks back and he says, he calls her name. He's like, "What you doing back there?" He said, "Oh, yeah, that's for the dumb kids, basically the ones who didn't pass and they barely passed, and I just happened to look back and make eye contact with her. And it was just one of those exchanges where it was kind of like probably embarrassing for her, but for me it was like, wow, but I'm not the one to gloat, ha ha, he, look at you, but it was internal where I felt it, like, wow, and there have been, and for some of y'all that might not be enough, but that was enough for me. That was enough to show me that, she was embarrassed. She was embarrassed, and there are other times where God has shown me that he sees me in subtle and more drastic ways, y'all, in really drastic ways. And I just want you to get to a place where you really trust that he sees you. And if you're struggling to trust that he sees you, pray about it. I've definitely been in situations where I have burst into tears, and I'm like, Lord, this person has hurt me so bad. Like, you just want to get even. Whether it's you say some of the most malicious, like, that's something I've gotten really good at. Like, I'm not gonna physically fight unless I have to defend myself. But as far as words, if I really want to take it there, I'm gonna take it there. And that's not something to be proud of, but I know that about myself. And that's something I am trying to rid myself of, because that's not what God wants us to do. He doesn't want me tearing, as some people say, reading them for filth or tearing them down, and they go low, I take them to hell. Like, we're not, no. It sounds fun, but it's a lot of times when I have done it, I noticed that I would feel good, but I would feel this unpleasantness. And that's because I was called higher than that. I was called higher than to behave like that. And I would feel guilt, because nowhere in my nature do I truly want to hurt somebody. And there are people out there that do want to hurt somebody. And that's about them. And that's going to be between them and God. But um, be kind to people. There is a difference between being kind and being too nice, such as being dishonest about what you don't want to do, like going places, which I've talked about in a previous video, going places you don't want to go, doing things you don't want to do. That's out of the sake of being nice. That's out of the sake of trying to please somebody. Being kind is, being warm to someone, trying to be welcoming, trying, like, it's a thin line, you have to, I would say, pray about it and kind of figure out what is true. And I feel like the truth is the baseline. Like, am I operating from a place of truth? Or am I operating from a place of gain? Am I operating from a place of selfishness? Things like that. But excuse me, y'all. I don't want to burp in the I don't want to burp on y'all. But yeah, um yeah, like I said, there are other times. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can share with y'all about letting him get his vengeance. It could be even down to a point that they didn't hurt you. I used to fuss about a family member because I felt like they would just do certain things that were very toxic, maybe manipulative, whatever. And I would tell certain other family members how frustrating it was, and nobody seemed to really believe me. Which, if I haven't said before, I feel like I'm the scapegoat in my family, if you know what that is. But anyway, um, and it's funny how when you separate from people, they want to call you and they say, I finally get what you're saying. And I've been through that with my family. I remember some college roommates, I was living with two girls that knew each other, and they were inconsiderate. They were so inconsiderate, uh, to the point where I remember, like, one of them used to bring people over. They go out, she'd go out clubbing, and then she would bring them back. They're all loud in the middle of the night. I have to get up. I work on the weekends. I was working at a restaurant at the time. So I had a conversation with her, like, hey, I do have to get up. Can you tell your guests to be a bit more mindful? Da 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 da. Oh, I get it. Da 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 da. Whatever. And she did it maybe She did it two more times, but that third time I walked out there, and I'm not gonna lie, I shut it down. Bonnet on my head, robe, and I'm like, "Hey, y'all are too loud. Y'all are too loud. I don't care. I have to work." And she was totally embarrassed. But point is, the point is, the other roommate, she used to have an attitude with her. They used to kind of do a pair type thing, mean girl stuff. That's what I'm talking about. When they're too weak to stand on their own. They try to use majority over you. That honestly sometimes is an indicator that you are stronger than you really realize. I have noticed that with different situations with me. I have noticed women are quicker to gang up on me. They really are. And I do not know why, but I have noticed women are quick to gang up on me. And I think it's because for some women, I'm threatening to them because I just don't understand why does it take all y'all? Like, you know, um, I feel like I'm getting sidetracked. But in the end, the one who would invite people over for clubbing, she moved out. A new girl moved in. She stayed to herself. She was a graduate student. She was just focused, quiet, pleasant, minded her business. The other one got very friendly, and then eventually she started talking about and it might have been when I went home for a break or something. She was like, "I noticed what you were talking about," and da 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 da. All of that mess. But it's just like sometimes people, God has different plans for them. He might have to teach them through wisdom. He may teach them through, yeah, wisdom, punishment. You never know. And it's not up to you to decide when, where, how they receive their lesson, because sometimes we want to retaliate in a place that's just going to get them angry, and that's not going to produce what you might want it to. It's just going to get your leg back, but will it make them feel sorry for hurting you? Probably not. They might want to hurt you more. you know um I've definitely had someone tell their feelings to me from a place of sadness to where it was so effective that I felt bad, not from anger. So let God do it. Let God do it, because He knows what's truly going on in their heart. He knows what they have been through. Some of these people, it's all they know, and they don't realize what they're doing. Some people do, but again, that's not for you to figure out. God knows. So yeah, I hope y'all like this video. I hope it's helpful. Please understand that I know how hard it is to be kind, because it's like sometimes it feels like it's like if you have an ego, your pride, just yourself, it feels like, dang, like they're just really, like, I'm tired. Like, I'm tired. Like, you start to feel like over aggressive. You start to feel like everybody thinks I'm just this little, I don't want to say punk, but you just think I'm just like, they just can walk all over me. But God sees you. And for me, if I chose, like I said, I've gotten even with people sometimes, and I did not feel good about it. I felt bad because I am the type of person where if you hurt me and I've swallowed it for so long, I've tolerated it for so long, I am going to make sure to really hurt you, like really hurt you with these words. And that has really made me feel bad. So anyway, again, I hope you enjoyed the video. Um, if you're new here, thanks for watching all the way through. If you have any feedback for me, I'm definitely open to it. I'm still a growing channel. If you have any video suggestions, feel free. I'm still kind of trying to figure out what my niche or niche is going to be, or if there's something you would like me to talk about and I actually have input, I'll definitely address it. But yeah, that's all I got for today, and I will see y'all next time.